Hello everyone. In this video, we'll continue our discussion on protection. So first we'll see use of access matrix. In the last video, we have discussed access matrix where each row represents domain and column represents objects, entries represents the various access rights. So how we are going to make use of this access matrix? If a process is executing in domain DI, that means it is working in this is representing row I, and it tries to perform one operation OP on an object OJ. This is my column. So in this row and in this column, if there is an entry called OP, then only this operation OP can be performed by a process executing in domain DI on object OJ. Understand? And we can change the or we can expand the protection rights in our access matrix. For that we require some special rights. So basically what we need to do, we need to add delete some access rights. So some special access rights today we'll see. One is owner right, copy, control, transfer. We'll see them one by one. First, coming to this copy, owner and control right. So allowing control change in the contents of access right entries requires three additional operations. These are these. The ability to copy. First is copyright, as the name says. So this copyright is applicable on a column. That means on an object. So the ability to copy an access right from one domain, that is from one row of the access matrix to another, is denoted by asterisk appended to the access right. Suppose access right name is R, then we'll write R star, right? Then the copyright allows the access right to be copied only within the column. That is for the object for which the right is defined. So copyright allows you to copy the right within a column or for an object from one domain to another domain. This is copy, right? We'll see with one example. So say our access matrix is given like this one, this first figure. Here in column F2, the entry is what? Read star in the domain D2. So a process executing in domain D2 can copy the right read to other domains also, right? So read star. So this read access right can be copied to other domains for object F2. So see this read star, because of that here read is there, and another this write star, so this write is copied here. And please see here this read star is copied as read, not as read star. Meaning is a process executing in domain D3 cannot copy the write further. You understand? Cannot copy the right further. That means it is not propagating. Only the right is being copied. Hope you have understood. So see, this copyright has two variants. A right is copied from access ij to access kj. It is then removed from access ij. Sometimes it is removed also. This action is nothing but transfer. Similar to your cut paste. This action is a transfer of a right rather than a copy. Understand? Another one is that we have discussed just now. Propagation of the copyright may be limited. That is, when the right star is copied from access ij to access matrix kj, then only the right r, not r star, is created. That we have seen in the last example. A process executing in domain dk cannot further copy the right r. That we have seen in this, no? Right star. So right is copied here, not the star, right? That means from D2 domain, it cannot be copied to other domains, right? Then next is another special access right is there, owner. We also need a mechanism to allow addition of new rights as well as removal of some rights, right? We need to modify. Then the owner right comes into play. If access matrix ij means row number I, domain I, column j means for object j includes the owner right, then a process executing in domain di can add as well as remove any right in any entry in the column j. Please remember, copy and owner, both the rights are applicable on a column. That means for an object, right? So copyright will help you to add some new rights as well as removal of some rights. We'll see one example. Say here owner right is there, right? As well as here also owner right is there. Here also owner right is there. That means for F1 object in this column, this owner right is there. That means any right can be removed as well as newly added. So here see, for F1 object in D3 domain, this execute permission is right is removed. For this one, see here owner is there. So here we have included right star and right. Two rights are included, two permissions are included here newly. Another one, here also owner is there. So what we have done, here we have included right permission or right access right in this domain D3. So owner right allows you to remove as well as to add new rights in the particular column wherever it is appearing. Then next is access matrix with switch right. See, previous two rights were applicable on a column. Now we'll see for row. The copy and owner rights allow a process to change the entries in a row. The switch right is applicable only to domain objects, right? So it is applicable on domain objects. If access ij contains switch right, then the process executing in domain di can switch to domain dj. So see here I and j both should be your domain. It is written only X switch right is applicable only to domain objects. So access ij, I represents domain, fine. But in generally j we were representing object. But this time this j should be another domain, right? So for di domain to dj domain, you can switch if this access ij contains the switch right. We'll see with example. See here, so a process is executing in domain D1. And here see for domain D1 and domain D2, this is row and this is column, switch right is there. What does it mean? It means a process executing in domain D1 can switch to domain D2 also, right? Likewise, a process executing in domain D2 can switch to domain D3 as well as can switch to domain D4. And here see, a process executing in domain D4 can switch to domain D1, right? The next right is control right. The copy and owner rights allow a process to change rows, right? Now, the control right is applicable only to domain objects, similar to our the last right. If access ij includes control right, then the process executing in domain di can remove any access right from row j. You understand? Here this is for removal and this is applicable to domain objects. Remember that. That means I and j both are representing your objects. See here, one example we have taken. See, here control right is there. So for domain D2 and domain D4, this is row, this is column, entry is what? Control. What does it mean? D2 domain, a process executing in domain D2 can control the domain D4. And what it can control? It can remove some right from domain D4. See here, from D2 domain, we can control some rights from D4. So D4 previously here, write read is there. But now these read permissions are removed. So these read removes are removed and here see now only write permissions are there. So why it is possible? Because D2, D4 contains what? Control. What does it mean? That process executing in domain D2 can control or remove the rights from some rights from domain D4. So that is only shown here. Fine. Then the next topic is implementation of access matrix. First is what is access matrix, then the rights in the access matrix, special rights in the access matrix. So that part is over. Next we are coming to implementation. So in implementation we'll see how we are going to realize it or how we are going to store the access matrix. So the first implementation says global table. So in see what is access matrix? Row side your domains are there, column side your objects are there and entry is various access right. So global table what it will do? It is a set of ordered triples. It will store all the three information, domain, object, right sets, right? So see a process is, see in the access matrix domain D1 is there, D2, D3 is there. So for domain D1 For one object, whatever access right sets are there, that will be represented in one ordered triple, right? So these two entries can be repeated for various, see, for one domain, for various objects, this will be repeated. So whenever an operation M is executed on an object OJ within domain DI, that means a process is executing in domain DI and performing operation M on object OJ, then we will check our ordered triple list. We will see our ordered triple. There we will see for, or we will look for the domain DI, object OJ, and whatever right sets are there, in that our M is there or not. Suppose the right set is RK. So whether our M belongs to RK or not. If if it belongs to RK, then the operation will be allowed. Else, one exception will be raised. Understand? So see, the first one is global table. The first one is global table. What we will do for domain D1 for F1, read is there. Then domain D1, F3, read is there. Like this, we are going to store the ordered triples, right? Then whenever we're performing the operation, we'll check in the triple. If it is found, we'll perform it, else exception is raised. The next one is access list for objects. So access list corresponds for one object. That means for one column, one access list is there. So now we are slicing the access matrix in column wise, and each column is representing as access list. Each column is implemented as a access control list for one object that defines who can perform what operations. Who means what? Domain, and operations means the right sets. So the access list for each object is a set of ordered pairs, right? Domain, right set. So suppose domain D1, read write. For one object O1 we are talking. Suppose domain 1, you can perform read write. If it is domain 2, only read. Domain 3, only read. So whenever an operation M is executed on an object OJ within domain DI, the access list for OJ is search for an entry, this one. And if M belongs to RK, operation is allowed. If it is not, then we'll see one default set. A set of default operations are there. And if your RK, if your M belongs to that default set, we will allow. Else, that means if none of them are true, then only exception is raised. Hope this is understood. Then the next one is capability list for domains. So this time we are slicing the access matrix row wise. Each row we are representing as a capability list. So row represents what? Domains. So capability list for domains. What we are saying? Each row gives me what? One capability list. So each row means what? For each domain, what we'll be having is what operations are allowed on what objects. These are my columns, these are my entries, operations are. So for one domain, for object 1, I can perform read. Say for object 4, we can perform read, write, execute. For object 5, read, write, delete, copy. Like this, the capability list is represented. It is your ordered pair, right? So the first entry is object, second one is access rights. A capability list for a domain is a list of objects together with the operations allowed on those objects. This part already we have explained. An object is represented by its physical name. Physical name means what? Its address. Physical name or address. And that is known as a capability. Understand? An object is represented as a capability. Capability is meaning is what? Its physical name or address. So whenever we are applying one operation M on an object OJ, then the process executes the operation M specifying the capability or pointer to that object OJ as a parameter. And if that capability, simple position of the capability means that operation is allowed. Else what will do? Else your exception is raised. So see, we have seen implementation of access matrix. The first one is global table. That means all three things are there. Then next is column wise, that is access list. And next is row wise, that is capability list. And this implementation of access matrix is very, very important. Please see this. Hope you have understood. Thank you.